Hello, everyone. Welcome to Much Review About Nothing. You'll laugh until you cry, and then you won't stop crying. On this podcast, we review a movie we haven't seen through cultural osmosis and what we can find on the internet. I'm your host, Billy Greer.
We're your co-hosts, Jake Greer
and Luke Greer, the most awesomest of us three.
Let's don't watch a movie. Okay, so the podcast has officially started.
Yep. Inspection. I don't think we have anything other than just watch the breathing, I guess.
Yeah, that's kind of that goes without saying every time.
I would say that our heavy breathing gives charm. Like there's a creepy old man staying right behind you, breathing on your neck as you watch our podcast.
Oh yes, that charm.
Yeah, maybe people get some ASMR, from it.
Well, we can only hope. But yeah, I didn't have anything.
I could crack my knuckles close to the thing.
Yeah, people love that. Yeah,
I could like step on some styrofoam in here.
Yeah, eat something, swallow and gulp, and make horrible. That's the thing I noticed in our recording. We make weird, sloppy mouth noises sometimes. Like
we're just so hungry,
I don't know. I guess we all have big lips.
We're hungry for that big bite of comedy, that we're searching for.
Oh yeah, and I wanted to apologize for forgetting to say, let's don't watch a movie. That's our tagline. I'm supposed to say it at the end of every intro, but we've been ruining them the past few episodes, so I haven't thought to do it. And I did it this time.
And I want to apologize just for the podcast existence. I feel like we should have an apology for that.
That's another thing that goes without saying.
I feel like those two are guaranteed. That we'll mess up in some way, and then the podcast existence we have to apologize for.
Exactly. Okay, so today, what are we not watching?
Well, we're not watching Peter Rabbit, the movie that came out in 2018?
Yes, 2018.
Yeah, I heard... Isn't it like a heist movie? Kind of like Ocean's 13, Peter Rabbit?
I wish, but that's not what I've heard.
I could have sworn it was a heist movie, because, they're like sneaking in, they're stealing food or whatnot, whatever.
That would have been honestly a better take. I have a lot to say about this, but I kind of wanted to wait until we get into the meat of the podcast.
So. I almost have nothing to say because I haven't watched any of the trailers, really followed this movie at all. So
really? Well, I had some morbid interest when the trailers were first coming out. Obviously I haven't seen it because we're doing the podcast, but...
I read the story.
Yeah, I mean, I did too.
It's a whole 10 pages, so, it's always interesting to see these big Hollywood movies stretch a 10-page story to an hour and 30 minutes.
It's like The Grinch. But, yeah, I mean, I have a lot of affection for the original story and Beatrix Potter's works as a whole, which is part of the reason I was not very pleased when I saw this trailer the first time. But I guess if there's nothing further, we'll get into that.
Yeah, and then we can talk about it more, because I need some content to work on.
Yeah.
Oh, he looks like a bloated toad.
Well, this is all going to get cut out anyways.
Well, yeah, before we watch the trailer, I just wanted to point that out. This thumbnail they picked is awful. It's like, Peter's got this awful frog chin. He's all bloated. Is that like a smear frame or something? Why does he look like that?
I don't know. I don't like it.
He's Big Chungus.
Yeah.
It's Big Chungus.
It's like Big Chungus' little brother or something.
Little Chungus.
Okay, well, let's watch the trailer.
Is it possible to hate something so much that you just lose your vision for a second or two?
Honestly, I thought it was awesome. This movie is hardcore. Like, the dude who moves in, who kind of disrupts their life, he's a hardcore dude. He takes a hoe, he immediately goes after him. He's ready to kill. He throws some gardening utensils. Was this person like a trained assassin or like worked for, MI6 or whatever? Because, man, he is... He's got some skills, but so do the rabbits. The rabbits really give him a run for his money. So
I know.
I think awesome action. There's some really good action in this one.
I'll make a note.
Yeah, everyone knows that Beatrix Potter was known for her gripping action scenes in combat and stuff.
Exactly.
But I just noticed the old farmer, he's looking pretty spry, pretty young,
Okay, well, that's the thing. That is not the original McGregor. The original McGregor dies at the beginning of the film, and that's one of his relatives who comes in. Domhnall Gleeson's character. I forget what his name is.
So he's a young McGregor.
Yes, they updated the McGregor.
But I'm really surprised you guys didn't notice like the 20+ pages of like combat in the original story.
I must have missed that. I mean, it would have made the story a lot more interesting.
You want to know something? Mom was a little protective. Maybe she didn't read the whole story. Maybe she just skipped over it and only read the parts that she thought suitable for children.
Yeah, when Mr. McGregor got blown across the room because he was electrocuted by a doorknob.
Because, everyone knows that the English countryside had ready access to electricity during, the 20th century.
Yeah, well,
this is modern.
Yeah, if you haven't noticed, it's been thoroughly modernized. And I think this is probably, I'm not sure, there may be other things, but I think this is probably my least favorite kind of movie, is where they take a beloved children's story and, one that's classy, one that's timeless, and they turn it into this, this trash heap of slapstick and modern jokes and modern slang. They did the same thing with Ferdinand the Bull. That thing has, dancing and twerking animals in it. And it's just like, why does this happen? Why not make your own, we always come back to it. It's always the noticeable name or the prominent name.
Yeah, sorry. I got distracted. But yeah, no, you're right. It's just that they're taking these small stories and trying to make them bigger. But usually they don't really have a very good story behind it. Like, I feel like it could be done. You could extrapolate it out to a longer portion. But they usually, like, for kids, they really modernize them and, like, put in, like, pop songs and, like,
Which I gotta say, bonus points for Vampire Weekend. So, it's a band I like. They play.
I'd listen to Vampire Weekend.
Yeah, they played. I think was that A-Punk at the beginning, I think. So, bonus points for that. If you're not a pro. It's a pro, yeah.
The thing is, there was more than one Peter Rabbit story. Why couldn't they just make the movie like a collection of small stories with like an overarching plot with it,
Well, yeah, that's my point is they never want to be true to the tone and style of these stories they're buying. They buy the name essentially, and then they make this slapstick-filled farce that would make Beatrix Potter roll in her grave, no doubt.
Because wasn't the original story a morality tale about listening to your parents and going where you're not supposed to?
Yeah, but I don't know. Like, it should have been it would have been cool if it was kind of like animated in like a watercolor style. I don't know, because I feel like the creators, they don't give kids enough credit. Is there no market for like a maybe quieter, smarter children's movie?
Wait. Maybe it's smarter than we know. I mean, if you think about it, you have a farmer, right? Mm-hmm. He mistreats the animals. The animals attack the farmer and try to drive him out. Is this a reboot of Animal Farm by George Orwell?
Is
Peter Rabbit the new Napoleon or Snowflake?
Yeah, he may be. That is a good point, but I feel like that would be giving them way too much credit.
Does Peter Rabbit sell his friends off for drinking money?
Well, I guess we'd have to see it to find out, but I get the feeling that's not going to be in the film for some reason.
I think it is. It has all the trappings, communist utopia. He wants everything has to be shared. He's trying to drive out the farmer, take the land back. He's leading a revolution, so to speak. Put that as a pro reboot.
So possible
reboot of Animal Farm using Beatrix Potter.
Now, this isn't the Emoji Movie, so I doubt we're going that deep. This seems just more like a stupid movie. But it's a possibility.
But it's a possibility, and I just noticed when I was watching it, it was like, this is Animal Farm.
Well, it may even be like an inadvertent parallel. Maybe the writers were aware of the story, maybe they liked it, and they weren't intending, because that does happen in stories. Like, the writers will often create meanings they never intended. So I wonder, though, should a story be given credit for expressing values and ideas it never had any attention to?
I think so.
Because that means it's deeper, just...
it's like an unintentional thing, but you've still done it, basically.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
It goes back to base morality, that is your intent what matters, or your actions that matter in life, We're back to our philosophical podcast.
Yes, which I didn't want to do that again, but I guess here we are.
But however, this begs the question, who would win in a fight, Peter Rabbit or Macaulay Culkin's character from Home Alone? Because I was thinking about that too when I was watching the trailer.
Yeah, if you got
it's
traps.
Like, put them into a psychological battle of wits between the two. That would be an even better movie. Macaulay Culkin versus Peter Rabbit.
Well, see, that's what I was talking about a long time ago, I think, is like, combining ideas that have no right to technically exist together and creating awesome movies out of that. Anything else here?
Not really. I like the action. It's good action.
I guess, but like I would have no problem with this story or this movie if it was just its own characters. It doesn't need to be Peter Rabbit. It could be Jimmy Rabbit. I don't know. I could think of
Jimmy Rabbit.
I know
they could have had their own original character, their own original toy line and everything without having to pay royalties or anything. If they just did Jimmy Rabbit.
Well, that's the thing. You'd save a lot of money, and it's a dumb kids film anyways, so people are probably going to go see it.
Dude, Sony doesn't need a mascot or anything like that. They're not a small studio. I mean, they do original premise movies all the time, like the Emoji Movie and stuff. Yeah. They don't really need to attach it to anything.
Is this a Sony film?
Yes, it is. It's at Sony at the very beginning.
That's an unintentional
I think
connection.
There's a lot of Over the Hedge vibes I got from it as well.
Over the Hedge, yeah, that's another one about.
Just because it was that was on YouTube recently, someone talking about it. So.
Yeah, which I like that one, and that was based on a comic strip. So I'm curious how true that was to the comic strip. But
I didn't know it was based on a comic strip.
Yeah, it's not a well-known one, so I guess that's why it feels less egregious if it doesn't, But it is about animals, and I think they do steal stuff. I can't remember.
Yeah, like the electric fence type thing. I was getting some
yeah.
I mean, technically, it is McGregor's land. It is his right to let whoever he wants to come in or not, and to give what he wants.
Yeah, I know that's true. Because arguably, he's kind of the villain. I mean, I don't think he completely is, but Peter Rabbit has no right to be messing with him and getting in his garden.
I know he has. Yeah, that's where I was getting the Animal Farm vibes.
Yeah. So who would McGregor be?
He's the original owners of the farm who get driven out. But
but within the metaphor, is he the original czars or the old capitalist government?
No, I want to say that the original McGregor was the czar, and McGregor represents what is it called? The drama. It was the Russian Senate that took power before the October Revolution.
Okay, well, this is the path I see McGregor going down.
So McGregor would represent them and the White Russians.
I think one thing that's interesting is that if you had animals, or specifically a rabbit you were trying to kill, and he wore a shirt, would you think a little bit differently about your relationship with these animals? You have a fox and almost an entire
gentleman,
gentleman garb and things like that. Would that change your mind on how you view these animals? They're wearing clothes on their own, basically. No one's dressing them up.
Yeah.
So
it would be...
I just got this funny mental, this old crazy woman putting clothes on animals.
Well, they do. So, the lady could have done it, but, we've got wild foxes who are, looking suave, I would say.
Yeah, it was good to see Lord Miller make a cameo as the fox. If you don't know, he is an anthropomorphic fox.
Well, no, he just, he played the role in the movie. Yeah. They motion captured him.
But that's a good point. It would be very hard. It'd be a lot harder to do animals harm if they wore clothes and they were on their back 2 feet. And that made me think, all these animal rights groups, like PETA or whatever, why not just go around and put little jackets on animals and put, coats and stuff on deer or little hats. And then when the hunters see them, they'll be like, oh man, I can't, he's a little animal person. I can't shoot him. It's a perfect plan.
Exactly.
I just want to see PETA go into the woods and try and put clothes on animals. I mean, I pay money to see that.
I think there's a pro there. It's proposing a brilliant way to protect animals.
Exactly.
I say we put that down.
You put clothes on animals, all of a sudden, people just stop hunting.
And too, I gotta say, I really did appreciate young Gregor's bloodlust.
That's what I was talking about. He's hardcore, man.
His drive to protect what is his rightfully against, the encroaching communistic animals.
Yeah, I did appreciate the energy of the slapstick. I love slapstick. Why is this in my Peter Rabbit movie?
Yeah.
It's always that age-old thing. On its own, this would not be bad. But it's in the wrong movie.
But you know what would be a better kind of old British book to use a lot of slapstick humor that would work?
What?
What was it? The Wind in the Willows.
Really?
Toad.
Well, I guess
everything associated with it is hilarious. It's slapstick and everything.
Well, that's true. Although, a lot of that's kind of the same classy timelessness.
Yeah, but it would work better if it was all focused around Toad and stuff, because Toad is a very comical slapstick. The book has a lot of slapstick with Toad.
Yeah, no, that would make more sense. Okay, but we probably prattled long enough. Let's go on to amazing articles. And first, I think I'll start with this one from Metro Times, and I love the title. It says, "No one asked for this Peter Rabbit movie."
Well, technically, no one asked for any movie.
Oh, that's a good point, and I often come back to that. But
because what they do, it's like, like street hawking. It's like, get over here and get it, free, hot dogs. No one asked for hot dogs, but here they are. They have their hot dogs down there saying, "Hey, come and get this hot dog."
But
yes,
I think especially nobody wanted this movie.
No, I didn't. I mean, I would have if they'd done it like the original books.
Well, maybe it's like Possum on a Stick, the Possum on a Stick of street vendor movies.
Possum on a Stick? What the?
Yeah, like I said,
where is this sold? Like backwaters, Louisiana?
Well, that was the whole point.
Oh, okay.
This movie is so bad. It's kind of I gave the example of a street vendor selling hot dogs, but this movie is so bad. It's like a street vendor selling possum on a stick.
Yes, but this article kind of sums up my feelings on the matter. No one asked for and no one wants a Peter Rabbit movie with explosions. I do not want my movie about a naughty but sweet little bunny and his vegetable garden heist to come with butt crack and crotch injury humor.
I think we have to put some cons down on that with butt crack and crotch
injury humor.
Yeah, because we did knock it down before, but this goes beyond with even the butt crack.
Yes.
So
and we'll censor that to bum. And
yeah, I'm sorry.
Now I think about candy. Here, have a bum.
Is it a bonbon?
Yeah, but it's a bum.
What rating is the word butt crack? Are we breaking our explicit non-explicit thing?
They have it on kids' TV all the time.
I think adult 17.
Okay, well,
No, I'm joking.
we're gonna get kicked off of iTunes. Bum and woo woo injury.
That reminds me of a little antidote. Where
antidote?
A little antidote.
Anecdote.
Third time the charm is what I always say. That you do realize that in the past that was seen as a really, really bad word.
Okay, we cannot keep doing this. We are going to get in trouble with iTunes.
We'll just cut that out.
I'm editing that out.
Well, people curse all the time, but we are not technically an explicit
No, we
podcast.
are a clean podcast, so we keep saying wordy dirds, we're going to get in trouble.
Wordy dirds.
Okay, but that wasn't even what I was getting to. This is the most crucial part of this, and I abso-freaking-lutely... Is freaking okay?
I would think so.
I think so.
And okay.
Maybe not used a lot.
Yeah, and the article says, and I abso-blankin-lutely... do not want a tale of Peter Rabbit to become a battle between a man and a bunny over a woman. Oh my goodness, why? Why did director and co-writer with Rob Lieber, Will Gluck, think that anyone wanted this gentle classic story to be turned into an episode of the Itchy and Scratchy Show, pitting Peter against gardener Mr. McGregor, and later his relative, Thomas? And when I read that, I was like, okay, so this is taking the story in some very interesting directions.
I want to put a con down for possible zoophilia.
Well, that's the thing, though. We talked about human-robot love. What about human rabbit in the waste?
No.
Well,
but he's anthropomorphic.
Think about it. He's wearing clothes.
Yes.
He's walking on 2 feet. He can plan out attacks. Got obviously a pretty good sized brain. At least he's got cognitive functions and critical thinking.
It's really wrinkly.
He can,
Well, that's my question. Is he not man enough?
No, he isn't.
Okay, well, that's one vote again. Look, I'm very open-minded, so I am willing to, accept rabbit human woman love.
I'm so open-minded I lost my mind a few weeks ago.
Okay, but no, seriously, it is an odd direction. And in the defense of the movie, which I hate saying to begin with, I don't know if it's necessarily romantic, because within the plot, for some reason, Peter Rabbit's mother is dead. So he kind of sees the woman, whose name is Bee. Get it? Her name is Bee, and she paints the animals. Beatrix Potter reference.
Oh, yeah.
So I think it may be more of a mother complex, which I don't know if that makes it worse or more palatable.
Well, that's more normal. So animals, especially baby animals, will sometimes bond with a human.
Yeah,
or with other animals. Because there's a duckling that bonded with a mother hen that was raising it. That's kind of cute.
So I'm curious to be, progressive and open-minded. maybe a pro for it, because he may be very human-like, but maybe also a con, because there are some boundaries you should not cross.
I think the boundaries do blur a little when your animals are setting advanced traps to kill your potential partner. You know?
I mean, I'm not here to yuck any yums, but...
If anything, it makes a really great story of how you two met, you know?
Yeah, well, and two, I feel like he could consent. I mean, he's smart enough to make traps,
he can
so he's
talk
smart
to
enough
her.
to consent, so...
Can he actually speak to humans?
I don't know, but he could probably write a note.
He can convey intent because he was acting with the dude to trick B.
Yeah. So I guess pro con here.
Yeah, pro con. That it's a pro that it could be that, and then it's a con that we don't really condone this at all.
Yeah. I just realized I was putting down cons in my episode VIP area.
Well, that's not good, Billy. We
Yeah.
can't have VIP.
Our VIPs for this episode are Bum Bum and Woo Woo. Okay, so Bum Bum and Woo Woo will be our new mascots.
There we go.
Pro con. Rabbit, human love. It's a beautiful and disgusting thing.
Exactly.
It's weird that there's this backstory about his mother's dead, and it's kind of a heartfelt storyline, I guess, about overcoming that tragedy. But also it's got slapstick and poor Mr. McGregor getting blown across the room by electricity and all these weird modern jokes and fart jokes and stuff. And the article says, Peter Rabbit also features depictions of fractured friendships and misunderstandings between people and animals that get patched up in mushy ways that are meant to offer lessons about how to be a good person with good relationships. Should those not be taken literally? The small children who the only audience who might possibly tolerate this movie are not able to make such distinctions. For adults, the emotional and tonal whiplash Peter Rabbit induces in the viewer is even worse than Hollywood movies usually inflict. That's what I'm saying. It's got its wires crossed.
So is that a physical whiplash? Like people are just getting thrown out of the theaters and just oh my goodness.
Well, the slapstick is so intense. They're like,
Is that
I can't even handle this right now. But the kids, it kind of goes over their heads a little bit.
Is that kind of like Star Wars fatigue? Is this does this have tonal whiplash?
I think so. I think there's something going on with
actual physical tonal whiplash.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was just talking about it metaphorically. Because, it seemed like it wanted to be a farce, but it wanted to have its cake and eat it, too. And I know that's a weird thing. Not that I watch many of them, or any of them for that matter, but R-rated comedies do that a lot. Where it's just awful jokes, it's cursing up a blue streak, fart jokes, things of that nature, but it also wants to have a pleasant, heartfelt message at the end. It's weird. It's almost like they feel like they have to vindicate the reason you sat down to watch this. It's like, okay, we've had our fun, but here's the moral of our story, ladies and gentlemen.
So it's like basically every Adam Sandler film.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they have to have a happy ending because people, regardless of how they view things, they like a happy ending.
But and I'm not saying you can't have a happy ending, but why not, if you're going to go farce, which I hate it did that, why not dedicate it to 100%? Why not just make it a laugh riot, good time, with no heavy messages, Now
that you say that, that's kind of like how old comedy that was really funny, even to this day, I would say, like the Three Stooges works. Because it's the Three Stooges, and the entire time it's just this rip-roaring slapstick adventure, and there's no mushy, heartfelt...
No, yeah.
Everything ends on a joke, and it's all funny, it's... And that doesn't work every time, but... Most comedies nowadays don't do that. It's like you said. It's like you have all your slapstick, your laughs. But at the end, it's like, but he in the end he gets the girl, or he makes up with his family, or something like that, or something corny
I'm not
that.
saying it can't ever work, obviously, but it's just weird to me that they always feel like they got to do that. I would have more respect for this film if it stuck to its guns, and if it was just completely nutso all the way through. I mean, I already hate it, so I guess I wouldn't, but yeah.
So I'm just kind of thinking about the movie. It's really a genius ploy. You have the name Peter Rabbit, and so the parents, they know about Peter Rabbit, so they bring their kids.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
They get into the theater, they get emotional whiplash, which means they can't leave, so the children watch it all the way through.
They're so disoriented.
Yeah, they're so disoriented, they can't leave, so they watch it all the way through. The children watch it. The children now want to rewatch it or in the future, so then they have to buy it later.
Yeah.
It's a genius thing because otherwise, parents peer out. They might get in there and see what it is and walk out, and the children wouldn't want anything to do with it. But because the emotional whiplash just beats the parents up, and they can't do anything.
I didn't even think of that either.
It's a genius ploy. It's almost a pro, like this whole plot or this whole scheme, really about it.
Yeah, but it's kind of disgusting too.
Yeah, no, I'm hesitant to give it a pro for. We've unveiled a lot of like evil, duplicitous practices in Hollywood. Stuff that's like MK Ultra or extreme psychology or mental conditioning.
Listen, if you remember a few episodes back, I said we were like investigators who solve crimes on circumstantial evidence alone. Yeah. Well, here's the investigator that's coming out.
I know, we've stumbled onto this horrible conspiracy.
We're the news reporters of the podcasting world. We break the news stories about Hollywood killing actors.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, yeah.
We're journalists you can trust. We're not clickbait.
Well, I mean, you can't trust us, but if you want to.
Disney and Star Wars fatigue, now the emotional whiplash ploy. I mean...
Tonal whiplash, I think.
Tonal
whiplash, emotional, that's fine.
Just beats you up so that way they get more of your money to your children. I mean, it is...
I know. These are the kind of stories that no one else is dumb enough to pursue, And we have a sacred duty to keep bringing these things up to people's attention and let them know what's really going on behind the scenes.
And if we stop podcasting, we stop updating, they've got us.
Yes.
Like the hit squads have broken through the windows, and we're gone at that point.
Yeah, the Goof Troop has broken the windows and are now dragging us off.
Yeah, so please try and look for us if we ever vanish. But yeah, so Hollywood is evil, I guess is the basic point of that.
Right, yeah.
That's the one takeaway.
I think I know where all the people with psychology majors go, at least. Hollywood apparently needs them.
Yeah, to keep doing stuff like tonal whiplash. Okay, well, that's about it for that article. I just had some things there I wanted to analyze. And let's go on to this next one here, which is kind of a bit of controversy around the movie at the time it came out.
Even more so than bum bums and woohoos?
Yeah, even more than that.
I just want to say this one more point before we go on about the whole Hollywood psychology and stuff. Mm-hmm. I just want to say, guys, maybe we should stop talking about it.
Why? We can't bend on our morals and our standards just because we may be destroyed for it?
No, I think we should stop talking about it and we should move on.
Why?
Next article.
Okay. I was moving on. What was that?
What was that?
Just saying, we should probably stop talking about it.
It's like a fire in my belly, in my mouth.
Did they just get to Luke?
I think they did.
No, keep going.
All right, get him.
No, drag him out. No, I'm just saying, maybe we shouldn't,
They've got it. Maybe his mind's been compromised. Turn off the podcast. Turn it off. Okay, so on to this article from The Guardian. The title is Peter Rabbit Film Criticized for Depicting Allergy Bullying.
I heard this.
It's a scene in which rabbits attack a man with blackberries, knowing he is allergic to them. The new rabbit film...
the new rabbit
well,
film.
there's a new rabbit film.
There's a rabbit film every week.
The new Peter Rabbit film is facing a boycott over a scene in which a gang of bunnies attack a man with blackberries. I love how they're a gang, knowing he is allergic to them. Several groups representing allergy sufferers have condemned the scene, prompting the hashtag boycott Peter Rabbit on social media.
I want to say that the rabbits aren't so much a game as they are a Soviet of rabbits.
A Soviet of rabbits.
Yeah.
The American group Kids with Food Allergies Foundation said in a Facebook post warning parents about the film that food allergy jokes are harmful to our community.
I want to say this again. They were upset with the blackberry thing, but they were upset that they were electrocuting them to death.
Yeah, that's probably... Yeah. So,
too close to home,
What do you guys feel about this?
I say that if you have electrocution scenes and all that, a food allergy attack thing seems almost minor in comparison.
Yeah, because I have food allergies, a ton of them. But I'm not offended by this. I feel like it's a bit of a stretch to think this one movie is going to cause food allergy bullying.
Yeah.
But I mean, kids are impressionable.
Is that a pro or a con, really?
If they're this impressionable, I would keep them away from every electrical socket because I'm afraid they might electrocute me.
Yeah, it's fun. It blows you across the room.
Talked about this in Aquaman, but realistic bullying and all that. Is this realistic bullying or is it...
That's
is
a
it
good
CGI
point.
bullying?
It is pretty hardcore because, you don't see this much. I guess there's a reason there's a controversy because it is pretty rare.
Maybe in the scene after they pelt him with blackberries, they steal his what is it?
EpiPen.
His EpiPen. Actually, and so now he's on the ground spazzing out and frothing at the mouth.
He takes the EpiPen and to work with it basically. It's also kind of like a allergy PSA because it's like you keep your EpiPen close to you. You never know when a gang of bunnies is going to poison you with blackberries. Like that is a real threat. That roving gangs of bunnies, like they're putting wheat in food, they're putting nuts and everything. You got to watch out for these bunnies. I mean, they're killing you.
I mean, Britain's has been hit hard by roving gangs. It was like roving gangs of old women and now roving gangs of bunnies. I mean, I just can't get a break.
So I guess this is kind of a pro for realistic bullying, but at the same time, I wonder if bullies would even go this far.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I kind of want to give it a pro for being...
I think it's more pro for the PSA about, one, keep your EpiPens close, and be careful if you're in Britain, because roving gangs of bunnies, if you have an allergy, they're going to target you, and they're going to cause your allergy to flare up and go off. So you got milk allergy, pour a little milk in your food,
But, I mean... Personally, I feel that I hate this, immediately we boycott it, to get serious for a moment. If you have a problem with that, that's fine. But, why not just, talk to your kids and tell them that's not okay, or don't take them to see the film?
What, you mean practice good parenting?
I know.
Are you a moron or something?
But I just feel like it's not that bad. But maybe it's just, maybe it's just my opinion.
Yeah, I feel like, in a way...
especially since it's already, an over-the-top farce to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, there's worse things that a kid could take away from this film, I guess.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Why stop at, like Luke was saying, why stop at the allergy bullying? Why not? Aren't you afraid of kids setting up rakes in someone's room so they'll step on it? Or
how about the bear traps?
Yeah, the bear traps.
No, those aren't bear traps. They're way too small.
Well, they're
the traps. I guess rabbit traps.
But they look like bear traps, and that's the closest.
I don't even
know
what
they were bear traps. You wouldn't have hands anymore.
No, I know that, but they're that.
And then you just be walking around big bloody stumps and screaming.
That'd be interesting. I was kind of wondering if, I guess it goes back to committing to a concept. What if we went super gritty Peter Rabbit?
Well, then you couldn't market it to children.
No, I guess that's true, but I would almost prefer that as well.
Yeah, because at least it'd be interesting. But, I think there would be an outcry on that one. Yeah. Peter Rabbit is incredibly violent, So.
Yeah, I guess you can't win. I don't know, because I can commiserate because I do have a lot of allergies, but I feel like this one scene in this already silly movie with a ton of crazy slapstick jokes is not going to cause widespread allergy bullying.
Yeah.
But if it does, then maybe it's being true to the spirit of bullying, and therefore it is accurate bullying, which I so desperately crave in my movies.
And if you think about it, this whole movie, there's no black and white. It's very gray on gray.
Yeah, so possible realistic bullying. And I think that's the most important takeaway.
I gotta give props to the bullies who go out to buy blackberries with their own money to throw at one kid.
Yeah, I mean, it is commitment to your shtick.
Your craft.
Because if you're gonna bully, which I do not condone whatsoever, it's awful. But if you're gonna do it well.
Yeah. You're gonna murder, do it well.
Yes.
You're gonna steal, do it well. All
exactly. I believe going in 110% in whatever you're doing.
You hate to see a shoddy job.
Yeah. Exactly. If someone runs up the street, they stab me once, I'm like, come on, stab me at least 10 more times
exactly.
so you know I'm dead.
Yeah. Don't let me bleeding out.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we may have to cut that out.
This is a clean podcast for children.
Yeah. We've gotten really gory recently for some reason. And I don't know
This is where our minds go. Kind of shows who we are deep down inside. Just a bunch of violent psychopaths who feel no emotion.
Well, I guess that's the irony of us doing a clean podcast, because we are pretty, I don't know.
Yes, it is it is part of the joke. It has been the entire time. I'm just not saying that now to cover or attraction or anything.
Yeah.
It was the intent from the beginning.
It's all a sick joke. A sick, terrible joke.
It's the official story here.
But is that all the amazing articles?
Yeah, I think I've covered everything.
Yep.
Let me give us some cool stuff to talk about.
Well, let's go on.
Not cool, but some
rando reviews, and after that we'll go into facts and follies because we kind of alternate now.
Yes.
All right. So we have a lot of small reviews, but they're very insightful.
Okay.
We have Rahul.
Rahul.
Always
like that name.
Peter is intelligent rabbit.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
That rabbit is leader of all animal kingdom. Hello, friends. You know lion and rabbit story. That story, one rabbit using a different types of ideas killing lion. That rabbit name is Peter.
Whoa, okay. Hold the phone. First of all, I love Rahul.
Yes.
I love that. Hello, friends. Right in the middle.
Put him and the BIC
Okay,
room.
yeah, he's going to
No, he's the
VIP.
MVP.
MVP.
That's right,
Put
yeah.
him in his own special box.
Yes.
He deserves to be put in his own special box.
So what he's saying is that the animal kingdom has shifted. The rabbit is the leader of all the animal kingdom.
Wait a second. Is this why Peter Rabbit's mom died? Did she die in a coup against the lion?
I mean, maybe. What in the world is he talking about?
Is
Because
the lion the original Tsar family?
this sounds like a way cooler movie.
So you have the rabbits. They have like an uprising against the lion.
Yeah.
And one rabbit using a different types of ideas, using ideas like they're doing against this guy. They killed the lion.
Yeah, but that's why it's so cool. It's like these tiny creatures. They're weak. They're usually prey, using their wits to outsmart these huge monsters. It's kind of like Attack on Titan or something like that.
No wonder they're not afraid of this human. They killed a lion before.
Yeah.
What do they got to be afraid
And
of?
Peter Rabbit was the one who killed the lion. That's what he said.
See, they made him chairman of the new Soviet of animals after they disposed of the previous emperor.
Maybe I was wrong about this movie. So I'm saying pro for
He saw the movie.
possible lion war, and even if it's not in the film,
It's probably mentioned in the background in the appendixes of the book. You know.
I'm giving it a
The
pro.
Silmarillion of
It's
Peter Rabbit.
the Silmarillion of Peter Rabbit.
I'm giving it a pro just for that concept, for
Yeah.
bringing that to my attention.
But just the fact that it was probably Peter Rabbit and his two parents, they went off to kill the lion.
Yeah.
Even maybe there's a whole group of lions, or there's one lion.
I think
was a
there's
war,
one lion.
But it could have just been them. It was an epic battle. Ended with the death of his two parents. But Peter Rabbit, with his great ideas, came out victorious.
Well, maybe Peter Rabbit's parents were kind of like lion slayers, kind of like there's dragon slayers or werewolf slayers, and they would kill large predators.
I like to think of them more as downtrodden peasants who just finally had enough.
Well, I don't know, but that concept of them being predator slayers is really cool. And maybe by attacking, we know he kills Mr. McGregor.
Right.
So maybe he was kind of honoring them by taking on the most dangerous prey, man.
Yeah.
And so that whole movie's kind of, maybe it's showing how he's got to overcome his prejudices. You know, like he hates predators, bigger animals, humans who kind of fall into that camp. And it's about him learning to see the new Mr. McGregor as a person.
Right.
You know, it's this beautiful story.
He's trying to work past his bloodlust and irrational hatred.
Yeah.
If you think about it, Peter was not scared of that fox.
Yeah.
At all. Like, he was messing with
There's
him.
not a single bone of fear in his whole little rabbit
Well,
body.
that would make sense if he had grown up, with his family hunting large predators.
He could have killed that fox 3 times over.
He buried his parents. All right. After they all killed the lion, his parents bled out. He buried them right there.
He's cold and he's mean inside. And there's no cute little rabbit left.
If
He's a
John
warrior.
Wick had a persona, it'd be Peter Rabbit.
Yeah.
Exactly. Going on to our next one, we have Luke. Luke's bringing some interesting things to our
thank
random
you,
review.
Luke.
I just thought I had some fun. You don't have to watch the movie to write a review, as we've learned from our previous episodes.
Sometimes you could just say, hey, I'm going to watch this
And
movie.
yeah.
this works with Luke. When was the last time a rabbit was named Peter? Wow, just sad. That's the review.
Wait, it's sad that his name's Peter?
No, just the fact that it's been so long since we've had a rabbit named Peter.
I
That's true.
mean, when I wrote that, it was me, not some other guy named Luke. There's only one Luke, and that's
Yes.
me. I'm just sitting there. It's like we got Bugs Bunny, and what was that? Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
You have all these other rabbits, but none of them are named Peter.
No, I know.
I'm sitting there like Peter is a beautiful, strong name. It means pebble or rock.
It's about time they did it, and I put that down as a pro. And earlier I put down no commitment to tone as a con. I didn't tell anyone, but
So we have Peggy Bro, and I'm doing the full name for a very important reason.
Peggy Bro.
Peggy Bro. It's just Peggy and
Peggy Bro.
B-R-O. So, rabbits and Mr. MacGregor trying to kill each other whole movie.
Oh.
Older MacGregor had heart attack in early part of
See,
movie.
he dies.
EpiPen for allergic reaction that Peter gives Blackberry to MacGregor. Explosives
Oh,
trying...
wait, he does give him an EpiPen?
No. Well, I mean, he has an EpiPen. But
okay, so it is an allergy.
That's what I said, that he has an EpiPen.
I thought we were making up garbage about the movie.
No, it's an actual thing.
Oh, okay, good,
I knew it was an actual thing.
I didn't know that.
Oh, you didn't?
No, I guess I didn't really read through the article. I just wanted the headline.
No, there is a scene where they tried to kill him with his
Also,
allergies.
No, I knew that was in it, but I didn't realize he had an EpiPen.
How do they spell McGregor? Is it MCCRE?
Is it
MCC?
No, is it MCG? Is it Mick or Mac?
I thought it was like MAC.
Okay, that's right.
Then it's MacGregor.
It's MacGregor.
Yeah, McGregor, but I mean, it doesn't matter.
All right, explosives trying to kill rabbits. Just a really violent movie for little kids. So that's his takeaway.
You know, I kind of.
Well, children
Once
are
again,
inherently violent.
If this wasn't Peter Rabbit, I'm all for violent films for children. I believe children need to be warped by violence at an early age.
Well, hold your horses, because we got bear discussions.
Bear discussion. Okay.
There's a bear?
Huh?
Oh, and before we go on,
Are there bears in England?
I don't know.
Well, no, this is bear discussions. A random person on.
Oh.
I'm just curious. Like, we see that they used the young McGregor's allergy against him. What if they used an allergy against the old McGregor to give him a heart attack?
But he didn't have an EpiPen because he's old. He doesn't know about
So an assassination. These are assassination rabbits.
We already told you that Peter Rabbit's hardcore. He already killed the lion.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe that is part of like how they would kill predators. Because with enough poison, it doesn't matter how big you are.
You need to. If you know your enemy, you can defeat him.
Yeah.
But going on to bear discussions, I think this movie is phenomenal. It's funny, adorable, and Peggy Bro has no idea what she's talking about.
Whoa, we got a little drama.
This movie is perfect in every way.
Holy cow. Okay.
So we got a little conflict. Peggy Bro versus bear discussions. Who wins? That's the good question.
And this is the first time we actually ever seen two commenters that are aware of their existence.
Yeah, I know. I thought they were all kind of like trapped in small rooms and forced to write reviews.
they don't know that there's another person like 5 meters away from them behind the wall.
Well, they're in conflict now. There's a bit of a war going on.
So Peggy Bro's saying it's too violent.
Right. Bear Discussion's saying it's perfect in every way.
The Bear Discussions? That's his name?
Yeah, that's his name.
Oh, okay. I thought he was going to talk about bears.
No. He's just his profile name is Bear Discussions.
Well, having not seen the film, I cannot be a good arbitrator for this.
Well, we're about to go on, and I think we're going to take one of their sides with these two. I've got two final ones.
Okay, well, let's see.
All right, we have Lillian Teal. It's a positive. She gave it a thumbs up. She recommends it. To all of the hate comments, you think that 8 and 9-year-olds are going to find out that this movie is for killing? I think not.
For killing?
This movie's for killing.
Wait, are they trying to like train children assassins?
According to her, it's bad propaganda because kids won't realize it's supposed to train you to kill.
Oh, I see. I was confused because she worded it all weird.
So it's a con then because it's bad killing propaganda.
It's bad propaganda.
Bad death squad propaganda.
Yeah.
I guess the movie's trying to. That would make sense why it's so violent and why they used a cute little animal. Because it gets, like I was saying, you got to warp those kids at a young age.
Did the North Koreans work on this film?
I mean, maybe they did.
Well, the last review, I'm sorry to interrupt, is the longest and it brings the most insight.
Okay.
We have Makabu, because this is from IMDb this
Makabu.
time. We have the title of this review is called Fake 10-Star Reviews, because there were, on IMDb, there was a lot of 10-star reviews. She gave it a 1 star. I assume it's a she.
Yeah.
Trust me, the 10-star reviews have to be fake. I never write reviews. Well, she's kind of going against the thing.
Liar!
But I have to say, this movie is shocking. It could be remarketed as a horror movie.
Whoa.
Rabbit kills old man and sticks its paw in dead man's eye before laughing and partying in old man's house. So he did kill the old man.
He did kill him.
He was a brutal killer.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I mean, I'm sorry, Bear Discussions, but there was way too many people.
If you could see my face right now, let's just say that.
Okay, I mean, I knew he died, but I didn't realize that Peter Rabbit just brutally murdered him.
We talked about this. Peter Rabbit, after the death of his parents and all the war and conflict with the lions,
he's dead inside.
He became dead.
It means nothing. So I guess that's why his transformation will mean so much if he does befriend the young. I mean, who knows? He may just completely annihilate the young Mr. McGregor and like bury him in a ditch somewhere and then take young B for his own.
Could be, yeah.
And maybe a story, like a dark story where there is no redemption.
He's Conan the Bunny.
Yeah, it's just the cycle of vengeance passed down from generation to generation.
And maybe his half-human, half-rabbit children will continue the fight.
Yeah.
Maybe that's his whole thing. He's trying to breed a stronger rabbit.
He wants to make an army of superhumans.
Yeah.
So Rabbit boosts about killing the man. So he gets a boost from killing him. That's why he's going after these big creatures.
Is that like a Saiyan Zenkai boost?
Yeah, like he kills someone and he absorbs their essence.
Yeah, this rabbit, he's born special. This is almost like a novel, like a kind of a Japanese or Chinese novel where the character gets stronger as they kill things.
Well, see, I think I was wrong about this film. This was never intended to be like a Peter Rabbit movie, like a legitimate Peter Rabbit movie. It was intended, this is a parody, I think. The whole appeal is how far it deviates from the original.
Right, and maybe it's trying to show Hollywood that I'm going extreme with this. Watch me, basically. I'll show you.
It's like really sticking in the face of established Hollywood culture. Kind of like how when people watch The Warriors, they came out and started beating the style of each other.
Well, then maybe there is something to that allergy bullying then.
Well, we'll get to that, but honestly, it's a shame that they did have to kill an old man for it. I mean,
oh, I know, and it was Sam Neill.
Yeah,
I thought
the Jurassic Park guy.
I thought it was all CGI, but no, apparently that's a real rabbit, a real mutant rabbit that just likes to kill things.
Yeah,
we keep finding these secrets, so stop, please. I'm warning you.
I feel like the guy who has to go and tell the family that they've lost someone in the war. I keep having to tell our audiences about the actors we've lost in the
I know
it makes me wonder that. That the guy who played Snape, maybe he died during the Harry Potter filming,
I don't even want to think about that.
Yeah, and now I'm horrified. I mean, how many of my favorite actors have all been killed off and I haven't realized it yet?
Think about it. The guy who played Dumbledore, why do you think they had to replace him halfway through?
Because
they filmed that scene where he died, and so, well, shoot, we did it too early. We need a new actor.
It was a really bad oversight.
Yeah, it was really poor planning. Yeah. Really, really poor planning. But... sorry, I lost my place. Then goes on to try to kill the second man. Thinks he's electrocuted the second man to death in extreme violent scenes because laughing over body and parties a second time. Tries to give man an allergic food substance to kill him. Good character, lady next door. Says she loves rabbits. But when he damages one of her paintings, she picks him up and screams at him and throws him out in rain.
Well, so even the good character can't be trusted. It talks about the duality of man, how even some lady who seems really nice, you push her too far, she'll explode on you.
Maybe that's another reason she's like an abusive parent. So she's the substitute parent, but she's really abusive as well. So he's still dead inside. He can't He can kill other people, but he can't break this relationship because he's too dependent.
Well, it makes sense because his parents were predator slayers. Probably not a stable, childhood, stable family life.
No stable income.
He's probably replaced two dysfunctional parents with a dysfunctional human parent.
Right.
This movie's about cycles.
Just cycles of pain and suffering and abuse.
Yeah, cycle of revenge, cycle of abuse. This movie's a lot deeper than I thought.
It really shows
it
shows the cyclical nature of man.
And it goes on. She even admits she hates her painting previously. So she hated it, but when it was destroyed, she immediately got angry.
Well, that's pretty a normal human thing. We have things that, it's just a little doohickey. It's kind of ugly. When it breaks, we just go, oh, it was ours, we get all angry.
Yeah.
Cut to last scene. Man and woman happy together. And they encourage Rabbit to try to kill new couple so they can get back to their house, which they sold.
Holy cow. Okay, so I was talking about a tale of redemption. So...
It just gets worse. They somehow placate Peter Rabbit's wrath and bloodlust, and then they turn into their own little personal attack bunny.
Well, it's like he goes from a vicious person with personal agency to kind of a pawn of two other people. He's right back where he started. He has two dysfunctional parents again. I mean, they're not his real parents; they're humans, but they're sicking him on different people. So he's just traded one set of dysfunctional parents for another, and he's lost his personal agency.
You said personal agency. I don't think Peter Rabbit ever had personal agency to begin with. I think he's always been a slave to his vices, his emotions, and he craves that subjugation because that's all he knows.
Well, that's true, but he went from having no masters to having two. So I guess he's in a worse spot than he started off. So,
even, I'm just kind of she doesn't have any names in this, but Man and Woman sounds like B and McGregor.
It's B and Thomas. That's what
they
I'm
got
saying.
together.
Yeah.
And they're trying to sell the house, but Peter Rabbit is angry.
Yeah.
He is absolutely furious. He lost B. Yeah. He's going to get revenge on them both. He's going to kill them both. So.
Well, it's saying like a different couple though, isn't it?
The new couple. It could be either someone else moved in,
or he
couple,
wants to take
or
them
he
out.
wants to take them out.
Oh,
because they're trying to sell it.
Yeah.
So
or they did sell it, and now he's angry. He wants revenge.
He
on
is
them.
betrayed.
Because I was thinking maybe like for some reason he's weirdly dedicated to B, so he can't destroy her. So he's going to take it out on another couple, kind of as a.
It could be that as well.
Yeah,
you know,
replacement.
No one is safe from Peter Rabbit. I'll just say that.
Very violent movie and completely self-centered, and Psycho Rabbit spends entire movie trying to kill humans.
Okay, wow.
So that's it for Rando Reviews. I really think we've gotten to the heart of this movie.
I think we found out what it truly is about.
Yeah. It's just
and it has changed my whole perception.
I know, I did not expect this going in, because I thought it was just a dumb
that's a
children's
problem
flick,
also in Hollywood, is that the trailers don't really do a good service to movies.
A lot of times, no.
And from that, you think it's a family slash. When you get in, it's the story of this broken, violent rabbit who just wants to kill everything in his sight.
Yeah, I know. You would never get that from the trailer.
Like you said, just imagine like the visceral violence of John Wick combined with this movie.
That's what I said.
That's what I'm saying. I'm building off that. That's a pretty awesome movie.
Yeah, I'm
like
kinda
you
down
saw
with
some of
that.
the action. It's just like he's throwing things. Maybe he actually gets, like I said, he could have been like MI6. That's why he was like resistance against electricity and things like that. So he's trained. Maybe he gets some of Peter Rabbit's like family. He like eviscerates them. He, once he just decapitates it with a shovel. One of the cousins. Very brutal.
I mean, who knows? That would explain why Peter was so driven to take him out.
I was thinking about this. Does Peter Rabbit like share lineage with the Killer Bunny from King Arthur lore?
I mean, that'd be an interesting connection. You never know.
I mean, he just like flies around and bites their heads off. Or maybe because his bloodline is so diluted, he still has that bloodlust, but he lacks the ability to take heads off.
No, that would make sense. In a really stupid way, but yeah, it would make sense. I agree with you.
Well, I mean, think about it. It's set in Britain.
That's true.
And, same to you, both British people did that.
It's kind of fake Britain. I'll get into that in the Facts and Follies. But and I was thinking since Mr. McGregor maybe was a trained agent, maybe that's why he's able to stand up to Peter. So it's kind of a spy versus spy situation.
Maybe even why Mr. McGregor is out there. The British government knows about this killer rabbit.
They're trying to take him out.
They're trying to take him out. I think we've discovered the secret plot. Yeah. It's just like...
But in a plot twist... If we go the other route where they're not the new couple that Peter Rabbit's trying to kill by another one, maybe Agent McGregor somehow gets Peter Rabbit to join.
And he was waiting there to take out this new couple, and so he employs Peter.
It's either two things: either the British government sent him down to either kill or recruit Peter Rabbit. They want him
because we don't know who the new couple is. It could be McGregor and B, or it could be just a totally new couple. So either way,
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting possibilities here, and I'm pretty.
We haven't seen the movie, so we don't know.
Yeah,
but I think we've gotten a clear-cut view of this movie.
Yeah,
the Rando Reviews really helped with that.
If you enjoy John Wick, I'm sure you'll enjoy this film.
Yeah, if you enjoy really visceral stuff, like at one point, the Mr. McGregor he like snaps the neck of a bunny, and it's like,
you're into bunny murder. Is the film for you? Okay, well let's go on to Facts and Follies. In our facts section, many of the live-action scenes were filmed in Australia. Luckily, the rabbits were not real. Well, according to this, they don't know for sure. As they are an introduced pest in Australia, and live rabbits cannot be brought into the country. Because in the late 1800s, they were overrun with rabbits.
I know about that. They had the big whole fence.
I'll skip this one.
Which is very odd, because the rabbit is prey, and there are tons of things... Big scary predators in Australia,
Yeah.
So it's
weird they would. Well,
it's weird that they would multiply like that.
They breed so quickly.
Yeah.
And I just thought funny in the trivia, they're like, B is based off Beatrix Potter. Thank you, IMDb.
Yep.
Thank you.
Useful stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But Peter Rabbit is real. They just say CGI to hide the truth. They don't want you to know. The British government does not want you to know.
Yeah.
We figured it out.
And in there it says, during the scene where Bea and Tom are playing with letter tiles, Bea makes the word Potter in a reference to Beatrix Potter. Thanks again, IMDb. So, as you can see, we're kind of light on trivia. Okay, so let's move on to folly, because there wasn't much in general on this. But it says, when Mr. Thomas McGregor opens the white door of his London apartment at number 10, instead of British locks, the outside of the door has an Australian Lockwood brand lock. And the inside of the door is an Australian Lockwood 355 double-cylinder deadlock deadbolt. I mean, that's not interesting on its own, but I'm kind of building to a point.
I bet there was somebody in the theater who stood up. That's not a British lock.
Yeah.
That's an Australian lock. How dare they?
And they threw him out of the theater.
Wait, did Dad go see the movie?
Yeah. Well, it would be guns if it was Dad. I don't know. Does Dad know locks? I don't know.
I don't know.
He always seems to find something wrong in a movie and
That
just
is
scream
true.
it out. He should have been cut in half with that bullet.
In this last folly here, the workers that Thomas McGregor speaks to in the hardware store speak in very bad attempts at English accents, indicating that they were almost certainly Australian supporting actors. Most of this film was filmed in Australia. The irony here is that Gleeson himself is an Irish person, but speaks in an impeccable Southeast English accent in the film. So I'm seeing all this, it's all this Australian subtle influences here. Is this some kind of conspiracy that Australia is trying to become, I don't know, another Britain or something like that? Or it's a secret plot for Australia to come back to England? Because remember, they were a bunch of criminals that were originally brought down there. Maybe this movie is this subtle attempt to get back into English society. I don't know. I was just weird. I was just following the breadcrumbs here, and it's like, what are the Australians planning? They can't be trusted.
Right. It could be the Australians employing Peter Rabbit at this point. We don't know where Peter Rabbit is at this point because he's been recruited by...
He could be coming for us.
Yeah, that's who could be taking us out.
Listen, why do you think I keep telling you to stop talking about it? We're all being murdered in our sleep by a buddy who'll rip our eyes out.
I didn't know Peter Rabbit was this killing machine, or I wouldn't have been so flippant about it.
Look, it is a fire in my mouth. We have to keep railing on Hollywood. Sure, they may have Peter Rabbit in their employment, possibly.
I always thought it would be the banks that would get me, not Peter Rabbit. Life is mysterious.
He's a killer for hire, I think, at this point.
Yeah.
So
I don't know what Australia's planning. Maybe nothing, but I thought it was weird. They're trying to pass themselves off as English people or British people. So if you live in Britain, watch out.
Your neighbor that comes and goes, hello there, what's some spot tea? He might be an Australian.
Yeah, just listen. If he slips up and he's like, g'day, mate, and he goes, oh, shoot.
You need to get out of there immediately and call the police.
Yes. If his name is Bruce, it's a dead giveaway.
Yeah.
Maybe this is a ploy by the Australian government to come in and slowly replace the citizens
That's what I'm saying.
of the United Kingdom with Australia.
Yeah, that's exactly my
theory. And you don't know.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there and you're chatting with your friends like, we'll just throw one on the Barbie, and you're like.
Yeah. See, that's the problem. Americans can't tell these people apart.
Yeah.
I don't know the difference between a New Zealand person and an Australian. It would be so easy for them to pass off as British. We would know that.
Everything's an English accent, Cockney accent, Yorkish accent. It's all the same to me.
Scottish accent is all British.
Yeah, it's all
British accents.
Because the Australians love tea too. They love tea.
Yeah.
They've got an accent. There's barely a difference at all.
There is. They're just not that different.
No.
So.
That's why it's so easy for them to invade British society and replace everyone.
And remember, if you'd ever like to say anything to us or about our podcast, you can email us at muchreviewan@gmail.com. Send your complaints there.
Yeah, we'd love complaints at this point. We'd love any kind of engagement.
We might even read the complaints on the podcast.
We will, definitely. 100%.
Give us material.
Okay, well, that's it for Facts and Follies.
Well, I was going to do pop and parental guides. I figured I'd just stick on the violence and gore, just to kind of show the scope of this.
Even now, even though after I've been exposed to everything, right now, Gore and Peter Rabbit still don't mesh well with me.
Well, is this just going to be a retread of, everything we've already gone over?
We don't have to go in depth. Mostly it's just humans getting injured in this movie.
Okay, yeah, we just because we're coming up on an hour now.
Yeah, I didn't want to go too in depth. That's basically it for violence and gore.
Yeah, so basically the parents' guide here backs up all the information we just got.
Basically, and they do miss out on a couple of things, but some of it does bleed in. Like I said, a couple of the rabbit deaths. Don't look up the parental guides to check or anything. But I think that's it for what I have. But
okay, well we'll go through our pros and cons and. We'll make our reviews. And I've been noticing recently our pros and cons have been getting even more messy and
crazy.
insane. Yeah.
Yeah. I think
we went into this thinking it was just a kid slapstick movie, and we walked out seeing the truth. It's a gritty psychological thriller action movie.
That it may not be fake. It may be true. Like you said, Peter Rabbit is out there.
Because a lot of time we're just pulling stuff, out of thin air. But there's a lot of evidence here across very different mediums.
The people who wrote the reviews saw the movie.
Yeah.
Like, this is a documentary in actuality. I think it's a documentary, and I'm surprised this even made it. I think
that's just it. It's so over the top and outrageous that no one's going to believe it.
Yeah. Right, but I'm just
ingenious.
There's more truth seekers out there who are trying to get the word out about the Australian ploy to take over the British government. Peter Rabbit being this killer agent, and the British and even Australian government buying for him, basically.
Was that a training video for Peter Rabbit? They're all Australians pretending to be British people, and Peter Rabbit's hurt. Are they training Peter Rabbit to kill British people?
Could be.
He needs to learn how to tell the difference between an Australian and a British person, because it's almost impossible to tell. Okay, well, let's go on to our cons here. We'll go from cons to pros. First of all, bum and woo injuries, which at this point it's almost
it's negligible at this point from what we found out.
That's the thing. I'm worried about most of our cons. We don't have many, but
I think for this movie, just death, constant death. It seems like
gleeful,
and the death that's going to come from Peter Rabbit ravaging the world almost. So.
That's the thing, but a lot of that's in the pros.
I guess so.
Well, I guess in a pro con, it's like if.
I think the play for the Australians' ploy to take over the British government, the way they're doing it, is completely wrong. Make that a con.
That's a con, yeah. So back to the cons, tonal whiplash, which I guess makes sense because it was never intended to be.
The trailers are very deceiving.
Yeah, but the literal tonal whiplash, whereas debilitating parents in theaters, making it where they can't leave.
So they can get to your children as well.
Yeah, which is pretty egregious.
But they're not really good at turning your children into killers.
That's what I was about to say.
That's another con. They didn't do it right.
Yeah. That it's very bad Death Squad propaganda.
Because it's meant for a rabbit, not for human children.
I guess, but I feel like by showing it to us, they were trying to get the kids, because,
They were experimenting. They were like, well, this worked on a rabbit, we'll work on children.
Because Peter can't be everywhere, so...
Right.
And I also said no commitment to tone, but it seems to me they committed to a very different tone than... So I guess a con instead would be very poor trailer.
Right.
The trailer's very deceiving.
Yeah.
Very deceiving.
And of course the last con, which I've added, is the Australians' attempt to take over Britain.
Right.
And then we'll do pro cons. Rabid human love.
Which may or may not exist anymore.
Yeah, we're not sure.
It seems to be a very dysfunctional, one-sided love.
Yeah, and then the just huge amount of death and destruction in this film, depending on who you are.
And the death and destruction that's probably going to come after.
Yeah. But if you're kind of a thrill seeker, a gore hound, you may get some kind of weird,
Right, this is like Sin City levels at times.
Yeah. So. Okay, so now on to the pros. We briefly mentioned it, and it kind of plays in everything else. Awesome action.
Right, I saw that action. Yeah. Mr. McGregor is going hardcore. We found the reason why.
Well, he is an Australian agent.
This Domhnall Gleeson is always this, punching bag for everyone else in movies. Like in The Last Jedi, he's just getting thrown around, no matter... Even in
Wait, is he Hux?
Yeah, even in Ex Machina, his character meets a very horrible fate at the end of that film, which I won't reveal because it's a spoiler.
He's kind of like little Sean Bean in a way. He doesn't get killed. He just gets beaten up.
But I feel like in the films, at least Sean Bean gets some respect. Domhnall Gleeson is like Sean Bean if no one respected him.
Right. That's why he's Junior Sean Bean. No one respects Junior, obviously.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so it introduced a brilliant plan to protect animals by putting clothes on them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which is
it didn't quite work out because there's some rabbit death, but when you're a trained killer already, it doesn't really have much effect.
Well, it's a psychological effect that Peter Rabbit does to lull his victims to a false sense of security. Yeah. They see a funny rabbit in a little outfit, and they're like, "Oh, little bunny just."
Yeah.
And plus, like you said, Peter and other agencies should probably look into that as well.
I think it's a good idea.
Or hiring Peter Rabbit.
And it's a good PSA warning you about allergy bullying and roving bunny gangs throwing blackberries and stuff. And we also, in brackets, I wasn't sure how good it actually is, but possible realistic bullying, as we've complained about in the past.
Even beyond realistic bullying, hyper-realistic bullying.
Oh yeah, and this one, possible lion war or some kind of fight with lions in the film.
Right.
And even if it's not in the film, the concept's just cool.
That'd be an awesome comic about these rabbits who are fighting these larger. And
I was
larger
thinking
creatures.
that.
I don't like that comic about the mice who ride weasels. I haven't read. Just
really?
I just seen it for sale in like bookstores and stuff.
We've come up with a lot of ideas. I'm kind of logging away and going to use in the future.
If you steal them, give us credit and pay us royalties.
Yes. Okay, and this one, there were so many aspects of this one that I kind of just had to write down a few. Which this one I guess doesn't apply anymore. I was saying it's about overcoming prejudice against predators and animals, which, as we've seen, isn't the case.
It does not happen.
But Peter Rabbit is a John Wick type character, but even like John Wick is ostensibly our hero,
right?
Even if he is incredibly violent, but
he's beyond John Wick in a way.
He's like, who am I thinking of? He's like. He's kind of like Agent 47 or something.
Or Deathstroke from Teen Titans.
Yeah, he's beyond morality at this point. He's completely dead inside. The film is actually super gritty, which is kind of what I was wanting.
Yeah, I mean, we might watch this one.
Yeah, because at first I thought it was a mockery of a classic story, but that's the point. It's kind of a parody.
Right.
And there's finally a rabbit named Peter, which someone was happy about.
Well, Luke was happy.
I was happy.
Yeah, Luke was. That's why I wrote that. I forgot about that.
There's Rogers and there's Bugs and all that, but where is Peter?
Yeah. And finally, it's a very important film that talks about the cycle of abuse and revenge and how people, like one bad deed leads to another. I feel like there should be Oscar buzz for this. It handles some heady themes, although maybe it's just too violent for your average,
Probably. I think it's a very niche film, just with all its violence.
Yeah. Oh, and I forgot, Vampire Weekend's in the trailer. So,
oh, yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, I forgot about that. So it's good to hear that. At least it's not just kind of bottom of the barrel pop. They got some decent music. Okay, and that's it for our cons and our pros and our pro-cons.
Well, this is a hard movie to review because there's so much to digest.
But I already know what I'm gonna give it.
I think I do too.
I'm gonna give it a 90. Hopefully, Peter Rabbit will spare me, or at least maim me instead of kill me with a high score like that.
That is so crazy because I wasn't given a 90 because I feel like, in spite of everything we discovered, they made the mistake of calling it Peter Rabbit and attaching it to the Beatrix Potter property. Mm-hmm. If it was its own thing, if it was like. Why can I not think of a different P name for some reason? I'm horrible at improv.
Pedro?
If it was Pedro Rabbit, which doesn't flow as well, admittedly, I would not be nearly as hard on it. But the fact to use that name, it deducts 10 points.
Right, and I think because we're appealing to Peter Rabbit itself, I think the person with the highest score will probably get the most appeal. So I'm going to give it 91% because I'm a little bit better than you guys. And so if Peter Rabbit comes after us, who's going to kill first? You two, because I gave it 91.
Yeah, well, I hope he kills you first for being a jerk.
90.3 repeating.
Yep, this is repeat. Hi guys, I'm repeating the decimal. I'm here again.
It's partly the reason I gave it a 91 as well.
Because your reviews are stupid and they use weird numbers. I hate you. I wish I wasn't affiliated with this podcast.
Well, we forced the repeating decimal.
Put Billy in a home or something?
I'm not Billy. I'm repeating the decimal.
Yeah, I'm repeating the decimal.
Don't feed his delusions.
What are you talking about? It's our mascot. It's the repeating decimal.
What's that repeating? We should look at Rotten Tomatoes. Oh, he's right. We need to look at Rotten Tomatoes and see what they gave it.
I'm scared.
I keep wanting to say Reader Pabbit.
Pobody's Nerfic.
Yep.
Well, apparently Peter Rabbit does not want us to find out what the correct gave him. He is hacking our electronics.
He's already got a bead on us.
There's
no hope for us.
There isn't.
Maybe that's why the internet's bad. It's
okay, I got it.
Finally.
Okay, good.
So the critics on Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 64%.
Oh, well, the critics won this time.
Yeah, they were a little bit higher than the audience.
They go to the MVPs, the critics.
But I feel like, what with the tonal whiplash and just the extreme subject matter, I can kind of understand the audience score in this case.
Yeah, they were confused.
Yeah.
And look at him hold that carrot like a knife on that.
So it's a 64 for critics and a 57 for audience.
Yes.
I'll never look at Peter Rabbit the same way again.
It'd be hard to.
Yeah.
I mean, especially when he's coming through the window. And,
he's so small he can fit anywhere.
When he's the last thing you see, it's hard not to think about him.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess before we close out, I'm going to give a shout out to our episode MVP this time, which is Rahul with "Hello, friends."
Yep, and the lion killing.
And the lion killing.
He let us on that.
Yeah, he was the one who kind of opened the floodgates, so we got to give him props. He helped us see what the movie's really about.
And then the critics, they won, basically.
Yes, the critics won this
That's
time.
our next. That's our next.
That's right. Yeah, the critics have won this episode.
Yeah.
So congratulations, critics.
Yeah.
And a bonus MVP is Peter Rabbit. Hopefully, we're just trying to placate him at this
Yes,
point.
yes. Please don't kill us. All right. Well, that has been Much Review About Nothing. Like I said earlier, if you'd like to get in touch with us, you can email us at muchreviewan@gmail.com, and you can follow us on Twitter at muchreviewAN. And of course, we're on iTunes and Spotify and Podbean, although you're probably listening to us on iTunes because that's what everybody does. Please give us feedback. Reviews, rate.
Or just talk to us. Let us know you exist.
Yeah, just yell at us on the street if you happen to see us. Throw bricks through our window. No, please don't do that. But seriously, we'll take anything at this point. We just want interactions. We want to know people are out there listening, if they are, which I think they're all bots, but I'm not sure. Anything else besides, please, Peter Rabbit, don't kill us?
Yeah, I think that's good.
All right, well, this has been Much Review About Nothing. I've been Billy Greer.
I've been Jake Greer.
And I've been Luke Greer.
Bye.
What's that brown thing out there?
Is that Peter? No!